Let me tell you something that my pops used to say to me all the time. He used to say, boy, oil and water don't mix. Well, see, what I was hearing him when I was a kid, I was thinking that he was teaching me a science project. We would do this. We would have our science fair, and people would put oil in water, and then they'd shake them up. They'd put different colors in the oil, and then they'd shake it up, and it would always, and once it calmed down, it would separate. Well, that's what I thought he was teaching me, but I didn't realize that he was preaching a whole sermon in that one sentence. Boy, oil and water don't mix. And so as I sat down today in Proverbs 28, what it talked about was wisdom and foolishness. They're like oil and water. They don't mix. They can't coexist. And the foolishness that I've had in the last couple of days is being mad at my dog for little Ziggy for peeing all over the place, all these things. And what God kept impressing in my mind this morning on my walk was that a well can't, or a spring can't have fresh water and salt water at the same time. So if you got nastiness that's coming out your mouth about your dog, you got nastiness in your heart, then wisdom can't live there because I am of wisdom. That's what God was telling me. Well, this was hugely convicting, and I didn't want to hear it, but it brought me right back to my pops as saying, boy, oil and water can't mix. And in Proverbs 28 today, it listed out exactly how to fill yourself up with wisdom. And if you're filled up with wisdom, you don't even have to worry about foolishness because there's no room for it. So why don't we get this party started?
Yeah. And this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We begun surfing waves too low, made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene. Ole scene, Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights.
Wisdom and foolishness. Actually, I was listening to a sermon the other day, and they were talking about this, where they said that foolishness doesn't exist. Foolishness is just the absence of wisdom. So they said it's not a thing. I don't know if I would, sign off to that, but it made sense to me. The foolishness wasn't really a thing. It was just the absence of something else. So the absence of wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, and that comes from the fear of God, that is foolishness. So foolishness is not a thing unless wisdom is not present. And you could chew on that there for a second, but the whole thing this morning that I got a chance to be able to spend some time with was the wisdom and foolishness operate exactly like oil and water. And wisdom and foolishness, you could shake them up together. They can seem like they come together. But once things start to calm down and they start to settle, they'll always separate. And they can't be in the same place at the same time. And this was very convicting because I was on my dog walk this morning. I had Ziggy on one. He's pulling me. Skylar's pulling me the other direction. She just wanted to sit down, lay down, and be a lady of leisure. But I've been a little angry, which is so silly, at a dog. So I've been angry at the dog because he's been peeing on the floor. He's been acting up. He's been peeing on everything, and just not been great. He's a year old. But in dog years, he's 7, so maybe he should be acting right. And right as I got to the park this morning, God just convicted me on my heart is just like, a spring can't have fresh water and salt water come out of the same place. And so if you have nastiness in your heart, you have nastiness coming out your mouth, and you're talking ill about the dog or about the situation, and you're not speaking life into things, wisdom and foolishness can't coexist in the same place. And they're always going to separate. So just be conscious of this. And this was very convicting on my side. It goes for the forgiveness part of it. It goes for, letting things go. These are all things that I've had challenges with in the in the past because I want to be right. I definitely want to be right. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but there's times where, well, most of the time in my life where I just want to feel like I'm right. Um, and whatever fills your heart eventually comes out your mouth, and then whatever comes out of your mouth generally shows up in your hands. And this was the thing that God opened up to me this morning as I was spending time with Him, is if we fill our heart with wisdom, then we'll start to speak wisdom. When we speak wisdom, then our actions will be wise. It's a pretty simple process, right? And this all comes from my pops, where oil and water don't mix. No matter how much you shake them up, no matter how much you try and manipulate it, they'll always separate. And so, as my pops was saying this, if we fill our heart with wisdom, there'll be no room for foolishness. And the cool thing is the simplicity of his message. It was just one sentence, but it literally you could just write a book on that. Boy, oil and water don't separate, or oil and water don't mix. They never will, no matter how hard you try. And so if you think about it, like filling your heart up with wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, and that's just spending time with God. When we spend time with God, then He'll give us the right use of knowledge. That'll bring in wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. Then that'll bring knowledge. That'll bring understanding, insight, discretion, discernment, discipline, strength, and it'll lead you right back to the fear of God, where it all began in the first place, and that's the wisdom cycle that we'll talk about throughout. So in Proverbs 28, there was a lot of takeaways for me in this one, and we'll just kind of rapid fire them. In Proverbs 28, it shows this clearly. Fill yourself with wisdom, no room left for foolishness. We talked about that. So foolishness is just a lack of wisdom. So we can argue, or you could argue, that foolishness is not really a thing. It's just the lack of a thing. Lack of wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. And all knowledge starts from the fear of God, just spending time with Him. It doesn't mean from a religious standpoint or a ritual standpoint. It just means spending time with Him. Take into Him, like with this thing with Ziggy. I've been mad at Ziggy. I've been looking at my dog. I've been mad dogging my dog for like 3 days. Now, it's a dog. It probably doesn't know, but I just look at it and I'm like, I hope you understand how disappointed I am. I'm not saying it, but I'm looking at it looking at the dog with the disappointing look. This is the stupidest thing ever. But what I'm finding is overflowing into other areas of my life, and I'm having a tendency to get a little short with my wife or with my kids or in certain situations. And God is like, are you joking right now? Like, you cannot mix that thing, that nastiness that you have towards your dog, and the wisdom that I have for you. So choose. Do you want my love? Do you want my joy? Do you want my peace? Or do you simply want to be mad at a dog, right? In Proverbs 28, it goes back to boldness comes from spending time with God. When you spend time with God, you'll have true boldness. Otherwise, it will be pride that comes in, and then ego, and then the fall comes, right? And so just be kind of conscious of this, like, like true boldness, like true boldness. Now, there's false humility. There is times where we'll puff out our chest and we'll just be insecure. And generally, insecurity brings with it pride, and it brings with it ego, and then we just act a fool, right? And it brings foolishness because it's the lack of wisdom. So true boldness, if you want to truly be bold, that would mean that you just spend time with God. Focus creates discernment. So when you focus in on something, it's amazing, because I read this earlier, actually it was today, about working your land, just working your land, the thing that you're good at and your purpose to do. It's going to come simple to you. It's going to come easy to you. And you're not going to see it as so profound. You're going to see it as simple. So a lot of times we go to try and complicate things, especially in leadership. I used to do this all the time. I wanted to complicate things so I seemed important. When you simplify things, things work. And people buy into it. It's very, very simple. I just talked to a woman. Her name is Jessica. I reached out to her, and I just spoke some life to her this morning. She works with Sport Clips, and she's an amazing, amazing girl. She actually spoke life to me the other day. She reached out to me after I did a seminar for their company, and she reached out and said, hey, I just want to tell you that it really impacted me. And that meant the world, right? And she said some specific things. She used my name and specific things that speak in life. And so when we're thinking about these kind of things, like when we just focus in on the small little things that truly make a difference. If you're leading a company, use people's names. Tell them something that inspired you about them. Like, those things will light the culture on fire. And it's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Knowledge maintains order. So when you have knowledge in something, it'll maintain the order and keep it as simple as possible. We hear this all the time, KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, keep it as simple as possible. People will engage. And when people engage, they have the tendency to innovate. When they innovate and they have the freedom to be able to feel like they can innovate, then they adapt immediately and your culture literally takes off. But what needs to happen early on with that is that the culture is solid. What stories are you telling, and are the people telling the stories that are in line with that? What are the process and procedures, which are the systems, and which are nothing more than a list of your screw-ups? What is the productivity? Are you listing out the productivity, and are you becoming efficient every week, every month, every day, every minute? Are you becoming more and more efficient? Not managing the people, loving the people, but simply managing the systems. So let's see, knowledge maintains order. That's why what we talked about, love your people as much as possible, and just manage systems. When you flip them around, that's when you get in trouble. Seek wise counsel and apply it. That's the hardest thing, is sometimes we seek wise counsel, then we listen to it, but we don't apply it. If you apply it and then bring back the results to the wise counsel that gave it to you in the first place, that person will be open to give you more. And it's amazing because this is all in Proverbs 28. This is why what I think about it is like a spiritual gym. Your corresponding proverb, corresponding day, it's a spiritual gym. It's just go and do the work. Put in the 15 minutes to read the proverb. Then ask the question, what verse hit my heart? Just one. What did it make me think about, and what action can I add to it today? That's what's in the Vibe Within, the book, the Vibe Within. It's in the link in the bio. You can follow along. Or you could just do the study on your own. With the book, The Vibe Within. It's incredible what can happen. When you seek the Lord, he reveals the details. So sometimes we're so caught up in the details and we're looking for things. We're looking for so many details in what it is that we're doing that we actually get caught up. We get confused. I do this all the time. And what God says is just seek him and he'll reveal the details. And all we have to do is focus one place. And if we could focus one place and get everything that we ever desired, imagine that. We would all sign on. Well, we can. And that's just by focusing on God and seeking him. Godly gain is priceless. And this is a hard one because godly gain is on his will, his purpose, his plan, his timing. But it's all four of those. The challenging part is a lot of times we want it to happen when we want it to happen. But godly gain is priceless. Generosity wins when you're generous to people with your time, your efforts, your money, anything. Generosity always wins. Admit your wrongs and make them right. This is probably the best thing that you can do as a leader in a company. If you screw up, just stand in front of the company, say, hey, I screwed up, detail it, don't put any excuses to it, and just tell your crew that you'll make it better. Everyone will forgive you. You'll move forward, and you'll open up people to feel free in your place. And then that way the culture will be strong, the processes and procedures, which are nothing more than a list of your screw-ups. Then you'll start to see that people will allow themselves to screw up because then they'll make new procedures. The productivity will go through the roof because people know what it is. They'll feel free to innovate, and then they'll adapt immediately. And if you wrap that all in the way that people feel about it, which is the vibe, I tell you, it's curtains what can happen in an organization when that happens. Faithfulness brings blessing when you're faithful to people, when you're faithful to your word, when you're faithful to the areas around you and the principles that you have. That part, it creates crazy amounts of blessings. Now, it's not like a one for one. So it's not like I do this and I get that. Get out of that mentality. It's just do the right thing because why? It's the right thing to do. And then the right things will start happening, but it won't happen, again, one for one. It'll probably happen like you'll do something right, and then on down the line, you have compounded interest, and that's when the ball really starts to roll. Don't play favorites. Don't be a respecter of persons. Not about what the advantage you can get from the person or the thing. It's about you being of service. How can you contribute to them? How can you make their situation better? My friend and mentor, Stephanie Kachelski, is unbelievable with this. We went to breakfast the other morning, and you know what? She brought me a gift. And it was just a small little gift. It was a gold comb, and she just had a story with it, and she told me about it. And she's always contributing. There's never a time that I show up with Stephanie that she doesn't have some candy for me or some little trinket or something just to say, hey, I'm here. I want to contribute to you. If you contribute to people, And don't play favorites because of what they can get for you. It's amazing what can happen. You can draw people together in a wild, wild way. Be good to people goes back to what I was talking about with Stephanie. Stephanie is amazing. These are all truths that my pops taught me and my mom's taught me, not from them saying it over and over again, but them exemplifying it throughout their entire lives. Speak the truth in love. Sometimes people are like, I'm just speaking the truth. Well, did you wrap it in love? We got to make sure that we love the person and then speak the truth. That's when it's encapsulated and that's when it can really hit home. But sometimes people have the tendency to be like, oh, I just got to give you this harsh criticism because you need it. And that's what, wrap it in love. And I guarantee you it'll have a lot better situation. It doesn't mean that you candy coat things. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I am saying is when you wrap the truth in love, it means that you have data, but you also have love. So you love that person and then you bring the data, you bring the truth, but bring the truth wrapped in love. It always works out better in that way. This one's probably one of my favorite ones is honor your parents. Honor your parents no matter how, like some people are like, I didn't have good parents. Yeah, you did. You had the parents that you needed because it got you to the point where you're at right now, and where you're at right now is a blessing, an absolute blessing, because you're blessing other people around you and you have impact, positive or negative, you choose it, on the people around you. So fall in love with your current circumstances and allow magic to happen. That's what joy is. And I tell you, when you honor your mom and pops, even if they treated you really bad, honor their example of them treating you bad and then treat people even better. There's nothing wrong that will ever happen from honoring your parents. Trusting yourself is nothing compared to trusting the Lord. This is a big one because I think a lot of times we beat our chest and we think, oh, I did this. If you think you did it, Pastor Miles said one time, he said, if you ever think it's just you that's doing it, go home, sit in a room by yourself, tell God that, just yell, even if you don't believe in him, just yell out, hey, God, all my money, all of my accomplishments, all my stuff is mine, and you can't do anything about it. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't take it away from me. Try that. I wouldn't, even if you don't believe in God, even if I didn't believe in God, I would never do that. That's crazy, but test it out. Try it. Take the Pepsi challenge. And finally is the righteous lead well, or when the righteous lead well, people celebrate. And so people will be celebrated when they do the right thing. I promise you. It always, like, everything comes out in the wash. What you do in the dark always comes out in the light. When you do the same in the dark as you do in the light, that's called integrity. When you have integrity, you have the tendency to get lifted up. I promise you that when you do the right things for the right reasons, the right things turn out. So I wanted to share with you the wisdom cycle. The wisdom cycle is pretty simple. The fear of God, which is the respect of God. You can't respect something unless you spend time with it, see its words and its actions. Once they're in line, then you have respect. So respect God. That'll bring wisdom. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. Then you can bring in knowledge. Knowledge will give way to understanding. Understanding will bring insight. Insight will bring discretion. Discretion will bring discernment. Discernment will bring discipline. Discipline will bring strength. And it'll lead you right back to the fear or respect of God. And that wisdom cycle, once you get inside of that, it's like a muscle. We talked about it earlier. It's like the spiritual gym. You getting into the spiritual gym and getting in that cycle, you'll start to build the muscles, right? Building the muscles of respecting God or spending time with him, right? Spending time with God. Like, just build that muscle. You'll build the muscle of wisdom. You'll build the muscle of knowledge. Build the muscle of insight, of discretion, of discernment, of discipline, of strength. You'll build those muscles. And once those muscles are strong, there's always going to be one that's lacking a little bit that you need to work at. But the root of all of it is just to spend a little bit of time with God, because he'll lead you exactly where you need to go. So that's the wisdom cycle. And we go back to, when you choose this, when you choose wisdom, the separation happens naturally. It doesn't require drama. It doesn't require a big announcement. It doesn't require cutting people off, as most people say. It's simple, subtle, it's steady, and it's holy, meaning that it's just the right thing to do, right? And just like oil quietly sliding away from water, the separation will happen. When you impart wisdom, when you just do these little tiny things, these little tiny inchstones every single day, reading the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, asking yourself 3 questions. What verse hit your heart? What did it make you think about? And what action could you add to it today? You'll notice that the muscles will start to form. And that wisdom muscle will start to form, and that'll give way to knowledge, and that'll give way to insight, and that will, or understanding, and that'll give way to insight, and that'll give way to discretion, discernment, discipline, strength, and lead you right back to the fear or respect of God, right? So that in that spiritual fitness part, this is where the Inchstones come in, right? It's just tiny little steps, tiny little obediences. It's not major things, not major shifts. It's tiny little choices that build your spiritual muscles over time. Your first Inchstone, right? So think about this, like when I talk about this, the Inchstones and building those spiritual muscles, it was funny because I was telling my brother, I said that I had lost a little bit of weight, but I felt like I was losing some muscle. He just responded very quickly. He's like, it's not like he had that much muscle anyway. But what I found was when I go to the gym or do anything, I want the results to happen right away. I want the muscle to form right away, but it does step by step, step by step, step by step, little bit over little bit. It's the same way with a retirement plan. It's the same way with any business. It's just little Inchstone, little Inchstone, little Inchstone. So here's your first Inchstone. Read the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. On day 1, like on the 1st of the month, read Proverbs 1. On day 12, the 12th of the month, read Proverbs 12. Today, on the 28th of the month, just read Proverbs 28. And that's the spiritual warm-up. Here's your reps. Notice what stands out. Write out one sentence about it. Pray one simple prayer. This is your spiritual gym, one step at a time, one Inchstone at a time, right? And so I go back to my pops, right? So my pops didn't preach long sermons. He seriously said like one sentence, quick little quips, but he always added boy to the front of it. Boy, oil and water don't mix. And then he would just walk on, and I'd be like, what do you even mean? Are we in science class? But he was preaching a whole sermon in that. Pops, if you could hear me, I get it now. Like, I get it. And I want to thank you for that. And I love you, and I miss you every single day. So here's the challenge for every single one of you. Here's your next Inchstone. Ask yourself, what's the oil in my life and what's the water, right? And what have you been trying to blend that God has already separated? This is strong. Start with today's proverb. Let the wisdom fill your heart until foolishness has no room left to stand. I'm rooting for you. Let's keep moving one Inchstone at a time, right? I want to thank you guys so much for spending time with me. We have 3 different shows on the podcast. We have You Have to Meet My Friends, where I go live and I call my friends randomly. I get to interview some of the most iconic people in the world, like JJ Boogie from Arrested Development. He's the guitarist and front of the house technician and drummer for Arrested Development for the last 20 years. Unbelievable human. I've had some of the most iconic people as far as, interviews, but also we do this. We go through the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and hopefully it gives you a little bit of soul food and a way for you to be able to work the spiritual muscles, get in the spiritual gym, and do it one Inchstone at a time. So that's it for me. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Yeah, and this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We begun surfing waves too low, made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene. Ole scene, Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights.